Siegel's Financial News and Talk. Your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. We've got Jim Casparie back with us. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron.
Stu Hein is with us. Welcome.
Thanks, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance.
We've got Jim Casparie.
When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. It is Ron Siegel Radio. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What is the celebration? I looked at the celebrations this morning. You know, I guess like the dog days of August don't bring any of the real exciting days. I couldn't even figure out what some of these were. National Bean Better Day. I don't know what that even means. Yeah, we're not going to go with that one at all. I'm looking also the National Bow Day. Not like the boat, B-A-O. I don't know about that one either. Yeah, we're not going there either. Tooth Fairy Day, I'm probably a little old for that one, so we'll probably skip that one as well. I guess having beaten anorexia, I will go with National Pecan Tort Day. We'll stick with that one for the day. That one's moderately okay. I don't know if it's a great one, but we'll take it anyway. What the heck? Moving right along, markets this morning. We're looking at the markets. I guess the markets like the president's speech yesterday, up 154 points as we speak right now. Oil prices up ever so slightly, and the 10-year Treasury, yeah, that's up just a little bit as well. So might see some, not a great rate, great for the mortgage rates, but you know, this is the interesting part, or the important part. When the U.S. 10-year Treasury increases, that's strictly a sign that our economy is doing better. And if our economy is doing better, who is the population that benefits from the 10-year Treasury? Yeah, it's our senior citizens. They benefit most from the 10-year Treasury. They're living on fixed income in many, many instances, so that is a good sign for our seniors. Watching the news this morning, can you believe it again? I saw this article and I found this fascinating. And no problem, I don't want to get anybody upset with me, especially those people in the studio. But did you check out the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football? Yeah, 12 of them have trouble standing. Apparently there's about 50 of them that have trouble playing football. What was their record last year? 1-15 or something like that? Well, maybe if they would focus more on football than politics, maybe they would focus more on football than social causes. They only work 16 weeks a year, right? I mean, 16 weeks they have to focus on their job. They get paid millions and millions of dollars. Now, is there, I don't want to say anything about this, but I just thought I'd throw this out for you. Is there any correlation to the fact that organizations, wonderful organizations like the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Giants, and I'm not a fan of any one of those, they don't have these issues? They've told their players that, you know something, if you want to sit down, go play for the Browns. Maybe that's what it is. I saw that the other day from Jerry Jones. He said, we will not have players on this team taking a knee during the national anthem. We respect the country. We respect our citizens. Now, we did talk about Indianapolis, right? When they had the character there, the broadcaster, who suggested that they bring in Colin Kaepernick. 20,000 comments came in, 71% said we don't want him on our team. Does that say anything to you about what people are looking for when they're watching a football game? Maybe they don't want to know about what's going on in the world. Maybe they want to be entertained for that 2 or 3 hours. Do you think that could be part of the issue? I'm just watching it. Watching the politics a little bit. Did you check this out? Now, you understand now, tomorrow, I'm going to give you the prediction of tomorrow's first morning headlines. We will have another Russia investigation being leaked tomorrow morning. You see, last night the president gave a speech that many people did appreciate. He's doing a rally tonight, and anytime the president gets on a roll, something leaks out the following day. That's just the way it works. But this morning, the internet's blowing up over, you gotta love it. I'll throw this out there for you. The Antifa movement, the Democrat movement. What are they blowing up over today? The president glanced at the eclipse with a naked eye. Oh no, that's gonna kill somebody. It's horrible. Damn! Yeah, serious problem. I guess he must be incompetent because he did that. That is the Washington Post this morning. Now, the other issue that they're coming up with, and this is another major issue, we're going to have breaking news on this one right here on Ron Siegel Radio. The wife of our Treasury Secretary is announcing on social media whose clothes she is wearing. Oh no. Oh. That is another serious issue, and we're going to talk more about blowing up statues, which apparently very few people in the country care about other than some of the folk. Nancy Pelosi. You gotta love Nancy Pelosi. I gotta love Nancy.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Yeah. So did you hear her yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before. She's coming out that, you know, the statues that are in Statuary Hall, each state gets 2 of them in the Congress and in the Capitol building. Yeah, they're really disturbing people. Now, when she was Speaker of the House, did they disturb anybody then? I just don't understand that. Did she do anything about it then? But now she calls on Speaker Ryan. Now, why is all of this going on? Well, it's very simple, and I might have shared this with you. We had some technical problems on the broadcast yesterday. It is the new playbook of the Democrat Party. Maybe it's the old playbook of the Democrat Party. Saul Alinsky's playbook, identity politics, racism, sexism. What else do they have to talk about? Have they given us one solution to anything? I mean, we know that Obamacare is blowing up. Have we heard anything other than no? I guess they can't get past 2 letters. That's the problem that they have right there. But we will continue to watch what's going on. And I did notice in the news, post-speech last night, Steve Bannon came out criticizing President Trump's policy for the speech. Maybe that's why he's not there any longer. No end in sight for the longest war in American history, according to Mr. Bannon. Just a little bit of news on that one. President Trump going to Arizona today. Did you notice that other commentary that was coming out? He's spending too much money from the Secret Service. Well, I wonder if that would have anything to do with a president that's actually working. Right? I mean, he went on a 2-week vacation, working vacation. The media didn't cover the fact that the West Wing was being renovated, so he couldn't stay there. But that's a different issue, right? We didn't cover that part in the media. But was there one day during his 2-week vacation that we didn't see a press conference? Now, I don't know about you, but when you go on vacation, do you check in with work every single day? Do you go out there and make speeches, make presentations every single day? When a president, I mean, obviously we know they don't really get time off. But they don't have to go and give a speech, a presentation every single day when they're on vacation. I'm not sure it's quite the same there. But maybe that's why it's costing a little more money. Although we did notice that the quantity of people working, I think they cut down 5,000 people in the executive branch. Just a little commentary there for a couple of my friends. But the president going to Phoenix today, and he's going to see Jeff Flake, and lost John McCain. Those 2 senators there, they're going to skip the president's rally. Governor Ducey, he's got something better to do. He's going to he'll meet the president's plane. I guess maybe he's never met a plane before. But he's going to meet the president's plane, then go back to his office while the president goes to visit the border first. Then he's going to come back and do a speech tonight about border safety in Arizona. Unbelievable. All the time we hear about more border trouble. Now, we don't want to build a wall, but we're going to complain about the fact that another truckload of people has been found. Unbelievable. We had 10 people died in a truck, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Now we find 60 would-be illegal immigrants hiding in the back of a refrigerated truck in Texas. Got to stop this stuff, folks. It's got to be stopped. And, well, we'll stay away from that one. We'll continue. I'm going to... Of course, we talked about Russia. I guess right in the crosshairs of the Russia investigation. This will come out later tomorrow. Remember I told you that. They're going to tell us that Paul Manafort, he's in the crosshairs of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. So we'll find that out tomorrow. Don't tell anybody I told you that today, because that'll be the leak of the day for tomorrow. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the opioid problem. It's a big problem. We're going to talk about it. Homelessness, that's a big problem. We're going to chat about that as well. Pain, not Democrats, pain. We're going to talk about that one also. Got a lot to chat about today. Why is it important to use a professional to sell your house? Boomerang buyers in the real estate market and some work from home jobs, all that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without a notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs for you. Pretty simple stuff that they've got over there. But although I'm a big fan of some of their different programs, projects, they're the only one that I know of that has the Fast Pass loan approval. But they also, which basically means you can go in the same as cash purchasing. But they've also got a program there. If you can't really document your income, but you got bank statements, well, you can get a loan just based on the bank statements, and they have some way of imputing the numbers. I don't know exactly how it all works, but it does. Boomerang Buyers about to re-enter the market. We've previously informed you about a study conducted by TransUnion titled The Bubble, the Burst, and Now What Happened to the Consumer. The study revealed that 1.5 million homeowners who were negatively impacted by the housing crisis could re-enter the housing market between 2016 and 2019. Recently, Housing Wire analyzed data from the U.S. bankruptcy courts and revealed that 6 million Americans will have their bankruptcies disappear off their credit reports over the next 5 years, and that could possibly send a flood of more home buyers into the housing market. I'm going to post a chart of the bankruptcies filed by year in the U.S. over the last 10 years, and you'll see on there that over 3.3 million people have already waited the 7 years necessary for their reports to no longer include the bankruptcies. Bottom line, if your family was negatively impacted by the housing bust, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And let's chat about it. I had shared this with a gentleman yesterday offline when he and I spoke about this. The comment was, either you qualify for a home loan or you qualify for a game plan to buy a new home. One or the other. You're going to qualify for one of those. So give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. We'll get you either on a game plan or get you into the new house. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage. So we do have, every once in a while, I mean, we talk a lot about finance and personal issues on Ron Siegel Radio, and I've had several folks come on and we've talked about the homeless problem from a lot of different aspects. Today we're going to take it from a little bit different point of view, and I'm not going to say it's more serious, but I'm going to say it's probably a little bit more personal, because one of our guests is hit right at home at, and we're talking about chronic pain, loss of job, drug addictions. Basically, that's the part of the crisis. And we've talked about the homelessness. And Stu, you might know more about this than I do, but I've kind of looked and said, in the homeless arena that I've seen and studied and chatted, there's probably 4 or 5 groups over there. There's the group of people that just want to be off the radar. There's the alcoholics, there's the drug addicts, there's the criminals, and then I know there's some veterans or people that are just down on their luck. They don't have a place to go. But today we're going to really focus mostly on opioids, drugs, pain. What have you seen in some of these areas? Where's this problem coming from? Are you seeing any commonalities of it? Healthcare, drugs? What do you see?
Well, first of all, thanks for letting me come on, Ron. It's really a privilege to be here, and I know this is, like you said, there's not a shortcut to this, but we've been able to come on and bring to light, bring some awareness to this issue, and so appreciate having the time to do this.
Sure.
So that's first. Secondly, as you outlined, there's a melting pot of folks that are out there for various reasons that, as we've talked about, loss of job, issues of high rent that's in Orange County. As you know, it's the highest it's ever been. A 1-bedroom apartment costs anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 a month. So there's economic issues, but at the core, and what interests me is that there's a root issue why folks get to the point where they feel hopeless, where they feel that there's not the options that are out there, the resources that we're about to talk about that are there, and they're not aware of them, and one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden they're in a tent, they're in a car. They call them shanty towns, Tent City in Anaheim. There's different reasons why they're there, and then there's also reasons why they stay there. So that's the things that we're seeing, is that it affects virtually everybody. I think it's something that we all should take a look at, because in Orange County it's a real rampant problem that we're all having to deal with.
And I know I listened to some of the county supervisors, I listened to the city council people, and I think, you know, most of them have a good heart, right? They're trying to solve a problem. I think that they just are, for lack of a better word, clueless. I think that a lot of people just don't know how to solve a problem. And Jim, you and I had this conversation that in many instances, when you start talking about the drug issue, right? Our society's gotten really, and you've got a background in pharmaceuticals. Mm-hmm. Our society's gotten really good at trying to put Band-Aids on things, but sometimes we miss the cause. Right? Is that what you're seeing with a lot of the drug issues?
Well, absolutely. I mean, what's happened is that our society, and particularly our healthcare system, is geared around trying to get people in, treated, and get them out. You know, do it in the most economical way. Don't keep them in a hospital for very long, because hospital stays cost a lot of money. And so if you have chronic pain, for example, and you walk into the hospital and the doctor can't find what's causing your pain, he basically sends you home and puts you on pain pills. And you keep bouncing around in different doctors, different hospitals, until finally you get addicted to the pain pills, and then you can't get off that, and you may end up being homeless, like Stu says, and you get very depressed because you have this pain. It's real. Your family may think you're crazy. The doctors may think you're crazy if they can't find an origin for it, and pretty soon all you want to do is die. You know, you lose the productivity of being able to work, you lose the productivity of paying rent and being a productive member of society, and you end up being homeless because you have no place to go, you can't hold down a job, and you can't find the solution to the problem, because all of our society is geared around trying to fix it quickly or don't fix it at all.
That's the whole thing, and that's where a lot of the issues that I'm seeing, and I've had... whether we are a fan or not a fan of some of the holistic type medicines that Dr. Bill Janishak has been on. He's a chiropractor, and we talk about some issues where a lot of times you take a drug, you know, in these instances where you're trying to find that solution for pain, you take a drug, so that might make you a little sleepy. So we take another drug that'll help us get up, and then I can't go to sleep, so I take another drug to go to sleep. Right. And then, as Stu and I were just saying a minute ago, well, how do you go to work if you've got a pain drug, a wake-up drug, a go-to-sleep drug, and I'm in a fog, and now I got to pay $2,000 a month for rent? Right? It's just, it's a vicious circle, and it all could have been that if we slow down a little bit and find the root problem, you know, maybe it's a joint, maybe it's an arthritis, something along those lines.
Well, you know, for example, 50 years ago we had psychiatric hospitals. I mean, we didn't know how to treat psychiatric problems any better then than we do today, but at least we would recognize that it was a legitimate problem that people struggled with, and we'd put them into these hospitals and try and find a way to treat them. Well, it became to a point where that was just way too expensive, so all the psychiatric hospitals are closed down. We don't have a way or a means or a protocol for dealing with patients that have any kind of real depression or any kind of real psychosis, and so that's off the table because it doesn't fit into our model of treat it quickly, get it out the door, and move on. And that's what the hospitals are geared to. As you know, my brother died as a result of his 6th or 7th attempt at trying to commit suicide, and on his 6th attempt he was admitted into a hospital, known regular suicide type of person, and he had major problems with drug toxicity. Instead of saying this guy's here because he's got a psychological problem, that takes too long. So what they did is say, well, you've got drug-induced liver hepatitis. That's a 2-day problem that we can solve. So we'll do that. We'll treat him for drug-induced liver hepatitis and give him some drugs when we discharge him, and hope for the best. But they're not treating the psychological problem that he's been dealing with for years that keeps bringing him back, and every single time he comes to the hospital, it cost a minimum of $36,000. His fifth suicide attempt was a $1.3 million exposure for the hospitals and the insurance companies.
Wow, $1.3 million.
Yeah, and 4 months in the hospital.
Now, did they ever find out what the source of his pain was?
Yeah, he had bone spurs from the base of his spine all the way up to his neck. He had a couple of herniated discs, and he had arthritis of the spine.
Are those now? Again, I'm just a radio guy, right? So, Is that something that's curable? Are there solutions for that other than masking the pain?
The solutions require work. And they require, tests, and a lot of hospitals aren't willing to go through that. I took him to the best spine surgeon here in Orange County, and the guy says, I can't operate on bone spurs from the top of your spine to the bottom of your spine. But he did recommend, there's a holistic pain management program at St. Jude Hospital in Fullerton that is nationwide recognized and very good at helping people deal with the pain issues. And they monitor. If you're taking pain medications, they're going to monitor that and make it not the exclusive only focus on how we treat you. So there are ways to deal with it, but the problem is it takes too much time. It takes too much effort. It takes too many dollars in a hospital environment or even in a private physician environment to figure that out. So we're all focused on trying to treat the symptoms and not the root cause. And that's really where a lot of people end up homeless. That's where a lot of people end up depressed. That's where a lot of people end up dead.
Is the issue that of dollars and cents? Is it an insurance issue? Is it what I would love to figure out, maybe we'll get that in the next segment, but I want to figure out, if it's an issue where dollars could have solved a problem. I mean, you talk about a $1.3 million state. It seems to me, and I'm just a radio guy, that you can do a whole lot of surgeries and a whole lot of outpatient. I know that I thought I saw an article, and Stu, you may know this better than me, but Fairview, they converted that into a homeless shelter where it used to be a mental hospital. Right. And my aunt used to work at Norwalk Mental Hospital. I don't know if that's even there anymore.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. I know that there's a lot of resources for shelters for all different demographics of.
But that's another Band-Aid.
But that's a shortcut to Jim's point. It's something that gives them a quick fix. Shortcut, but it doesn't give you a long-term solution to the root issue of what do we do with these people, and it is economically driven. There is some insurance issues, and it's also, again, it's a multifaceted problem where you can't just put your finger on one thing, but a lot of it is economically driven. And so.
Well, and think about this real quickly. I mean, 25 times more people try to commit suicide than succeed at committing suicide. 25 times. So take 25 times the $36,000 on average that it costs. And to your point, Ron, if they'd taken the $1.3 million that they had spent on my brother's fifth attempt at suicide and spent it after his fourth attempt at suicide, how many more tests could they have run? How many more solutions could they have found to help him find the quality of life he was looking for? Because he wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to kill himself, at least most of the time. Most of the time he wanted to work. He wanted to be a productive member of society. But because society let him down, he got to the point where it was the only option he felt he could go after.
You have to assume that somebody that's under that kind of pain and that kind of drug-induced feelings got to get depressed at some point in time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's the depression, and then you probably have to take another drug to get rid of the depression, or the anti-anxiety drug.
Right.
Right? I mean, it seems like, so it's an interesting issue, and then where does it become the difference of what is society's role in solving the problem as opposed to personal responsibility? Is there a difference in there? And maybe is it society that's caused the problem? Got to wonder about that part of it also. We're going to talk more with Stu, Hein, Jim Casparie when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. It's a fascinating topic, not one with an easy solution. We're not always looking for easy solutions on Ron Siegel Radio. But if we can bring you some light on this topic, maybe you can get involved in it. Maybe you can study it. Maybe we can make a more educated decision when we decide how we want to address it. That's the reason that we bring it to you today. And we'll also talk a little bit more when we come back about why it's important to use a professional to sell your house, good credit score better than a hot body? We'll talk about that as well. Remember, you can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Maricela. Christopher, good to see you on with us. Cheryl, good to see you on with us as well. If you got any questions, go ahead and just post them right there on the Facebook page, Facebook Live, Ron Siegel Radio on Facebook. The real-time real estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Why is it important to use a professional to sell your home? Well, it's pretty simple. They know what they're doing. Yes, you can find a house online. 96% of buyers who use the internet when searching for homes purchase their homes through either a real estate agent or broker or from the builder or builder's agent. I'm going to share with you a real simple analogy. I tell you this on a regular basis just because I'm a big believer in finding the right people to help you with the right problems or situations. A couple issues. First off, I couldn't do what you do. I don't know what you do. But since I don't even know what side of a screwdriver to use, I couldn't do what you do. If I did it part-time, spare time, I could probably look it up on the internet, wouldn't be able to figure out what it is anyway. I've shared this other times. I've got a bad knee. I probably need knee replacement surgery. I did Google it. I found out all the steps to do a surgery. I could do it on myself. Probably would not have the best results. Probably better for me to go and find a doctor that can help me with it. You can go and buy a house on your own. You can sell your home on your own. You're probably not going to find the best results there because you're going to miss about 90% of the buyers. You're going to get less money in the end. You're not going to know how to negotiate or where to negotiate or what to negotiate. You might even use the wrong contracts. See what I'm saying there? There's a lot to it. Very, very important to use a professional. In most instances, I won't say all because I don't want to use the, be accused of blanketing. In most instances, if you will hire a professional to do the jobs that you do, outsource the things you're not good at, it's going to cost you much less money in the long run, and you're going to get a better result. Real estate is just one of those. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Continuing our conversation, Jim Casparie is with us. Stu Hein is with us. We are talking about opioids, drug abuse, pain, homelessness. It's a major, major issue in our society. It's unbelievable. I know whenever I post things on Ron Siegel Radio that have to do with homelessness, it's a very interesting cross-section of people of what the commentary is. It's their problem. It's not my problem. I don't want my property values to drop. I don't want a homeless shelter in my neighborhood. I don't want to see I can't drive or ride my bike down the riverbed because there's all the homelessness over there. And you can see that side of it. There's a young lady that has got a YouTube out there, and I don't remember the name of it. They wanted to come and visit us over at our caravan meeting one morning. And she does a YouTube about going down and visiting the homeless encampment along the riverbed, and ironically enough, when they do the YouTube, they're demonstrating, or one of the homeless people says, "Yeah, I know who you are. I saw you on YouTube." Okay, now if you're homeless, I'm just a simple guy. How do they find them on YouTube? I don't know that part, right? I mean, it's very fascinating to me. But we're talking to the experts about it this morning. We're talking to Stu Hein and Jim Casparie. So, Stu, maybe you can help me with that one. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but holy cow! I mean, you've obviously studied what's going on over there at Tent City, and know that about what can we do to try and help some of the folks, and do the people want help?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. Is that first of all, it's growing every single year. The Tent City and basically Santa Ana Civic Center. There's different places where there's shanty towns, as they call them, that are being set up, and people congregate there for all various reasons. But we're also trying to collaborate with a lot of local groups. Let's take Anaheim and Tent City, for example. We're now meeting once a month to collaborate with motel outreach folks, where we know that there's resources out there. There's dozens and dozens of great, here just in Orange County, resources that a lot of folks aren't aware that are available to them. Well, what kind of resources? Well, I mean, I've got dozens here. I'll just name a few here in terms of some of the things that we can bring about an awareness to this, because to your point earlier, when someone gets into that situation and they get to the point where they're desperate and they get disoriented, they get lost in what they're doing, and it's a day-to-day nightmare that these guys live in. And a lot of them wanted to improve their lives. A lot of them want to move from that point. But we as a community, we bring by tents, clothing, umbrellas, water, and then a lot of times we will just leave, and that allows them to get through the day, but it doesn't address the bigger problem of what can we do to actually get these people in a place, get them in a shelter, get them into a home, get them into the right type of therapies that will help them. So for example, we got local churches, groups like Illumination Foundation that helps the homeless, northeast of the Well, motel churches do outreaches and celebrate recovery. There's Orange County Rescue Missions, 211, orangecounty.org, Second Harvest, Orangewood Foundation, Olive Crest. These are just a few of the separate groups that would try to address this issue. What we're trying to move to is now how can we collaborate with these different groups to work more as a unit rather than separate, so that we can actually bring about an appropriate outreach for these folks and address the core issue, which is, what do I do with this hopelessness that I feel? So that's what I see when I go to the Motel Church. When these folks come, a lot of them come from those areas, and they say, well, what's available? What do you guys have? And so we put together a resource binder. We make copies. We give that to them. And a lot of them say, oh, okay, there's options. I didn't realize there was options available for me. So that's step one, is awareness. Step two is working collaboratively and getting them in the right place where they can get to a point where they can see that there's some options and there's some hope.
Here's a debate that I've had with individuals, and I don't know the right answer. I look at it and say, I would much prefer making a donation to one of the groups that you just cited there. Be it financial donation, be it clothing, be it food, things you have in the garage, things that your kids have outgrown. Then take it direct to the tent city facilities. Mm-hmm. And I look at it and saying, okay, if you go right to the tent city, it's a one and done. At least if you go to some of these different organizations, they can say, okay, I'm going to trade you. I want to give you a little education for this widget. Is there any value to something like that?
Yeah, well, certainly. Giving is part of why should I give? Where is it going to go? How is this going to impact someone's life? And I think because this particular issue is right in our backyard, it gives us the opportunity that we can actually go and see it. We can actually put our hands on it. We can understand them. We can interview them. I've gone down a few times and actually just talked to these people, and I just would say, what do you guys need? And what I hear is, above and beyond just the food and so forth, is that we would like to have the groups, instead of just coming one-off, is we would like to understand what our resources and our options are in order to figure out what our next steps are. And a lot of them, quite frankly, Ron, are at a point where they just don't care anymore. We've talked about it a little bit here, but a lot of them just don't really, they've given up. And they've given up because they don't see enough hope to take that next step, to get into a place where, for example, there's not enough shelters to house all these people yet. That's an issue. Where do we put these people? Those who want to move from that spot. But there's a collection or a percentage that say, what's the use? Why bother? I don't see a hope to go further than what I'm doing right now. And once you get into that environment, it's groupthink. We say, you become who you hang around with.
Sure.
It's real negative. So it's a challenge. But there are resources. I think there's places to go. And in fact, it does make an impact when you do give and participate.
I'm going to talk a little more about this, the medical part of it, and also, what about just the cost of living? And is that an issue that we really need to be looking into? Or is it a right, an entitlement that people say, Orange County, okay, the rent in Orange County is $2,000 for a one-bedroom. What about San Bernardino? What about Riverside? We'll talk about more about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Orange County. We think of Orange County, California as being one of the garden spots of the world. But holy cow, suicides in Orange County, you're going to be shocked when you hear about this statistic. When we come back, we'll also talk about good credit score, better than a hot body. We'll talk about that one as well, all that and more. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area-trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report and it is wrong. Just plain and simple. They all are. And I don't care what 60 Minutes says that 20% of them are wrong or the FTC says that 5% of them are wrong. I've been looking at credit reports for nearly 20 years. And I've seen credit reports where people have nearly a perfect credit score. The 834 is the highest I've seen. 850 is perfect. I've never seen an 850. 834 is the highest I have seen. And I also saw in that same report 7 errors on the report. Does it mean it's going to bring his score up? I don't know, but it's not going to bring it up very far. And it doesn't matter. But the issue is every single report is wrong. I've never seen one that isn't. So yours is too. Credit Sanitizer has the solution for you. Now, I was going to share with you a report that I saw about good credit scores being better than a hot body and the surveys of what people say. Tune in tomorrow. We'll talk about it then because I want to get back to our subject at hand, being that we've got some great guests in studio with us. Your Credit Matters brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. It's fun being able to jump around. It's my show. What the heck? We're going to continue this conversation. Stu, Hein, Jim Casparie is with us this morning. Talking about a very, very serious issue. I jest in many instances. This has been one of the more serious shows we've done on Ron Siegel Radio, talking about homelessness. But we've talked about homelessness many, many times. But how do people get to that point in their life where they're just saying, I don't care? They're getting to the point where Jim shared with me this morning a statistic, and this is one of the more startling statistics I've ever seen in my life. Sources: the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention data, It's dated April 21, 2016. Orange County's rise in suicides largest amongst major U.S. counties. Now, when you think about this, Miami-Dade, if you're old like I am, you probably saw Miami Vice, right? Miami-Dade County, their suicide rate is down 12.5%. You look at New York County, New York, theirs is under 10% increase. Yet we look at Orange County, California, 45% increase. San Diego's right around, 28% increase. Santa Clara County, why is it all of California is on the growing side, on the wrong side of this chart? I'll post this on Ron Siegel Radio, but it's fascinating when you look at this. Is it our economy? Certainly not our weather. I mean, you talk about Seattle, right? They talk about the gloom in Seattle. It's not our weather. What's causing this? I mean, Jim, I know you've got a personal experience in your family where, our system, I don't know that our society, but our system, I think, let your brother down.
Absolutely. And by the way, those statistics are over a 10-year period. It's not just a one-year increase of 45%. It's from 1999 to 2013, roughly speaking, for those statistics that you just cited. But one of the things that I think is really important about this problem is that, it's one thing to deal with the homeless that are out there on Santa Ana River in the 10th city. Once they get there, you got a real problem, and it's much more difficult to solve. But if you could just control the problem and the influx of people that get into that situation,
sure,
nip it in the bud, catch it at the source, you got a much better chance of dealing with it. Now, about 8 years ago, I had a very interesting experience. My dad fell in the shower. We had to take him to the hospital. He was in the hospital for about a week. At the end of the week, they said, well, you're going to have to talk to a social worker before we can send your dad home. Guess what? The social worker deemed that the place where my dad was living was an unsafe transfer, that the hospital's liability exposure to putting him back where he was before was not acceptable, and so they told my mom, you can't take your dad home with you, or my dad home with you. And so we have a great process for dealing with that, because what it really was is to make sure that my dad was safe and that he was cared for. And they gave us a whole set of programs and scenarios where they would care for him and help him and guide him through all kinds of training for my mom and for the facilities that would look after him. But when my brother was coming out of his 5th suicide attempt, his $1.3 million cost to the healthcare facilities and to the insurance companies, etc., he was at the last stage of that in a nursing home. And so I had this image in my mind. It says they wanted to send him home with me because if I wasn't willing to accept him, he would have been in 10th City because he had no other place to go. He'd been in the hospital for 4 months. He had lost his job. He'd lost his apartment. He'd lost everything that he knew. And I asked him,
in the hospital 4 months, you probably lost all your muscle and you probably almost have to be trained to walk again.
Yeah, he looked like a 100-year-old man. He'd been lifting weights before. He was in very good shape. But at the end of 4 months, he looked like a 100-year-old man with everything sagging, and said, we're going to send him home with you. So I said, well, what about this safe transfer? Do you consider it safe to send him home with me? I have absolutely no training whatsoever. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I don't know what I'm doing. Are you going to give me any kind of instruction? Are you going to help me in any way? Are you going to follow up with me and send somebody to check to see how I'm doing, how my brother's doing? The answer to all of those questions was no, no, and no. We have no programs to send you to. We have no follow-up. We don't worry about safe transfer, even though he's coming into my home is a multi-story home, and my brother's going to have to be navigating steps, etc., etc. And none of this was an issue for them. The only issue was they wanted to get him out of their facility and off their books so that they didn't have any more exposure. And that's what we do that sends people into the homeless environment.
Well, the issue there, though, you look at it from every aspect, and I look at the institution that he came from. He came from a hospital, I'm assuming.
Well, this was a nursing home.
Nursing home.
He was in 2 hospitals before, and each one, the main trauma centers transferred him to a step-down hospital transferred him to a nursing home would have put him on the street.
But the question I would ask then, from a perspective of a nursing home, is where does their responsibility stop and who should be picking up the ball from there?
Well, that's a very good question, and I think that the problem that we've done in our society is we stopped all the programs that we used to have to help people like this, whether they're dealing with the psychological issues my brother was struggling with, or the physical issues he was struggling with, because he had chronic pain due to the fact that he had some very specific physical problems with his body that caused him chronic pain. They had no program to deal with that. They had no solutions of where to go, who to talk to, or how to get that problem solved so that he would not end up going into his 6th or 7th attempts at suicide. And he was ultimately successful on his 7th attempt.
Amazing information. We're not going to solve the problem today. Our hope, though, is that we open up some eyes, that we bring some light to a very, very tragic situation. If you want to get involved, go to our Facebook page, Ron Siegel Radio. We're going to put information right there. We'll put some of the resources there. We'll also be continuing our mission on trying to help solve or resolve or add to the discussion. But if you've got comments, questions, or thoughts, share them with us. I know we've got quite a few city officials that do follow us on the social media channels, and we'll try and continue our mission. And I really appreciate Jim Casparie, Stu Hein, appreciate you coming in, sharing with us,
Thank you.
Maybe enlightening us a little bit. And I ask you, as I do every day, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today, and of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.